Welcome back to Zero Camber Podcast. I am Mike, co-host Brendan. Yeah, sorry, I spoke for you. I was impolite.
You're good. You're good.
I'm still gonna do it anyway. And today we want to start with a game.
Getting right into it this time.
Yeah. Mike, a little closer. There
Better?
we go. Yeah, that's better.
Perfect.
And so the game we want to start with, because we watch other people's podcasts. And so, we saw, I think a month ago, Alex Martini's podcast did Wheel Mount Rushmore. And there's been a lot of wheel talk in our group chats recently. And so we thought it would be a good time to do it for ourselves. And so we are going to cover, I think the parameters of the game need to be this. 3 wheels. And the rules are not what are your 3 favorite wheels, but what 3 wheels do you think are sort of the backbone, like belong in the highest lauded position of wheels that have been made. What do you think? I want you to start.
Okay.
Because I haven't thought about it yet.
So you only want us to do 3?
I mean, we can do 4. Let's say 3,
right,
and
so
then an honorable mention,
So I'm gonna do 3 that I think are like pillars.
Yes.
And then 1 that is dedicated to my favorite, which I'm sure you already know.
I already know. Yeah.
All right. So number 1 that I think is a pillar, and I think it's kind of like, I believe this wheel is the pillar of probably everything. Like it's holding up everything, and that is the NK RPF 1. The RPF 1 is absolutely fantastic. It's light. It's cheap, or affordable, I should say, because you can get into a full set of RPF 1s for like sub $1,200. Like,
RPF 1s legitimately can be gotten for like the price of buying whatever off-brand crap you can get from Tire Rack. Like,
100%. Like
they're pretty good.
Yeah, you can't find a better wheel cheaper new. Like if you're ordering it brand new, I don't think you're getting a better wheel for less money than an RPF 1, especially if you're tracking. I think they look good. I know that's debatable. Some people, hate the way RPF 1s look. I think you're crazy. I think they look literally just fine. And they offer so many benefits for as good as they look.
Yes, they look good. They're just, I think people say they don't look good because they're tired of seeing them.
Yeah, probably. And I think that's the same thing that the second one I would have to say is, which of course is a Volk TE37.
God damn it. 2 for 2. You're 2 for 2 on what I was going to say.
So listen, I mean, everybody knows the meme is like the Volk TE37 looks good on everything. And I've yet to find something that the Volk TE37 doesn't look good on.
Let's see. Hold on. Can we come up with a vehicle that the TE37s wouldn't look good on?
I don't know. Honestly, I'd like to add the audience into this. If you find a vehicle that you think looks bad on TE37s, tag us. Send us it on Instagram.
Yes.
Send us it on Twitter. Wherever it is that you operate on, then you can find us. Just send it to us, because I would love to see if we could actually find something that looks bad on TEs, because I don't really think that's it.
I have a proposal on a vehicle that I think would look bad on TE37s. Renault Megane.
I mean, maybe.
I don't. Maybe I'm wrong.
The problem is, I think realistically, as like if you give any car a bit of low and the right specs, I think a TE37 is clearing.
You might be right.
I think that like as long as the rest of the suspension, like the fitment is dialed, I think a TE37 is going to pull it off every time.
You know what I'd love to see? Just because it would be stupid. I want to see a Gen 1 Mustang lowered on TE37s.
Don't give me ideas, because I don't need any excuses.
Yeah, no, okay. So RPF 1 TE37.
Yep, and then for my third pick, I'm probably going to say Workmeisters, S1s.
Yeah, okay.
Like, that is, to me, kind of like probably my favorite show car wheel, like a three-piece S1R
Yeah.
like Workmeister is like it's just so good. It comes out good every time, and clearly I'm a 5-spoke enjoyer here.
Yeah, clearly.
But like the Meisters, they just like Meister S1s. They look good almost every time.
Yep.
If I had to pick a different work 3-piece that I think is like also probably right there, I'd say VSXXs.
Yeah.
Because I think those are another one that just like it's kind of you can't go wrong with it. Like I think in the show car scene, it's more often than not it's gonna look good. Like as long as the fitment's dialed, like those pretty much look good on most things.
Yeah.
But like it's also you can find them in great specs. I mean, like work, you can if you order them new, you can pretty much get whatever bolt pattern you want, whatever size you want. I mean, that's the beauty of the 3-piece, right? So
Yep.
I think that doing stuff like that, you can't go wrong with it. I mean, it's not something that you can really say is a bad pick. And then, of course, you got to get to the absolute crown jewel of all wheels,
Sure.
God's chosen wheel, the Desmond Regenmaster. It's perfect. It's literally there is nothing better. The wheel design peaked with the Desmond Regenmaster, and that's enough said. I don't even need it. They speak for themselves.
Yeah, I don't agree. I'm not a Rega Glazer. I don't like them that much.
You do
They're
like
fine.
I mean,
I
what do
like
you take in
Euro wheels. I like Euro wheels. That's my problem, right? I'm not, but like, and let's be honest, right? Euro guys.
And see, that kind of
aren't-
surprises me though, because I feel like a Rega does have a little bit of like Euro styling. It's pretty flat, like outside of the step lip on like the originals.
Kinda.
Like, it's pretty flat faced. There's not a lot of concave to it. Like, and that blocky wheel is very Euro style, and I feel like that kind of blends.
It's about as
between-
in between Euro and JDM as you can get.
Yeah.
Like it kind of spans the two. So here's the problem. I realized as soon as I set the parameters the way that I did that, of course, my 3 answers were going to basically be RPF1, TE37, and the Workmeister. Like I do think those are like, because I mean, if you look at any build, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be not only is it the most prominent, but the designs are so high. Like most designs are highly derivative of those.
Yeah.
That are popular. Especially in the show car scene.
100%.
When you're talking about like JDM and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if I can play it exactly the same way. So the proposal is I'm going to put out 3 wheels that I think burned out too early.
Okay.
I think that their language can still be felt in places, but they burned out too early. And I think because it seems like the industry went a different way, I think they deserve more love. First one, basket weaves.
Okay.
I think basket weaves, right? That is the pillar, like the cornerstone of the 80s Euro movement.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Like, there's not a single thing from that era that doesn't look good on a basket weave type wheel.
Well, and a lot of designs, right, are very derivative of that design.
Yeah, I mean,
like it's the most commonly, like for that era cars, like it's so commonly copied.
Yeah, well, and even a lot of new wheels, like take inspiration from that as well.
Yeah. The second one for me, saw blades. Saw blades were, for the longest time, like one of the most prominent, like OEM wheels I would see put on everything. People were putting them freaking everywhere. And I think, maybe shoot me for this, right? I'm not the wheel guy, but I think that saw blades, the design implications in saw blades are so prominent in what is really, really popular in the Mercedes and like BMW wheel design now, because they do go for large flat faces, right? With sharp edges, like that sort of large filled wheel, like saw blades was, I think, one of the ones that made it the most prominent because everybody was using them everywhere.
Yeah, I can say that. I could say I agree with that.
it's not a common show car thing though. But like I remember, I'm sure you do too. Well, not a show car thing anymore.
Yeah, I was just about to say, like, not anymore, but I mean, if we go back 10, 15 years ago,
yes,
they were everywhere, along with salad shooters. Salad shooters were also on everything. There was like a
I would
huge
put
phase.
saw blades and shallot shooters in the same.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's what I mean when I said burned out too early. Because those were super popular, and then they just kind of disappeared.
Yeah, they did. They really kind of did just like disappear in the span of like a year or so. Like now, like every once in a while, you'll see somebody post something on it, but you don't see them. Not like, I swear you could probably go back and watch like any stance edit, VIP show car edit from 2013, and there's probably half a dozen. Everywhere. There's probably half a dozen cars on the pair of those, but
and those are wheels, like I said, they burned out too early. Huge, explosive into the scene, and then just
they came and they went just as fast.
Yep. And same thing with basket weaves. Same thing. Third wheel that falls into that category, and I honestly don't know the name for these, but it's the Mustang wheel.
You're probably thinking torque thrust.
Yes, the torque thrust. I can't remember, but everybody knows it. It's the Mustang wheel.
Yeah,
right? 5 spokes.
The USDM VSKF.
Mm-hmm. It's right. I mean, and that's, again, same time period. Salad shooters, the saw blades, the basket weaves, right? Those were everywhere. Everything was so derivative of it. To the point, right, that Mustang still uses that styling even now.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah. And I don't think that's going. I don't think that one's going away. And to be fair, I think those kind of came and went in a more like show car like scene that we're probably more familiar with.
Yeah.
But I can definitely say the old heads around Detroit are never going to let go of their torque thrust. They will be there forever. They will ride on them until wheels cannot be bolted to something anymore, and then they will probably still do something with them.
It's like the drag wheel, right? It's like the drag wheel for
unless you're going to like something like legitimate, like some Ballax or unless you're getting serious, that's like
but like weekend racer dude who kind of built his car in his garage,
dude who just likes his Mustang and washes it too much. Torque thrust.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure you're noticing a trend. Those are all 3 OEM spec wheels.
Yes. Well, and
that
does not surprise me.
Yeah, I like my OEM spec wheels. Yeah. I do. Now, if I had to put
what's
like a
peak wheel? What's peak Mike wheel? To match my Rega Master, like what's your since you're not a Rega Glazer and I am a most hardcore Rega Glazer, Whooper 2 Reel on Twitter, it says Rega Master propagandist in my bio.
It does, yes. Honestly, I think at the end of the day, I know that's stupid to say it again, but for me, my favorite wheel of all time is the basket weave. It's really, here's the thing, right? I got into cars primarily for 2 reasons. One was I had a buddy in high school that owned an SVO Mustang, so a Fox body SVO.
Yep.
So American muscle, right? That era, but it was the SVO. So this is the Turbo 4. It was kind of a piece of crap, but it had but it was fun and it was crazy.
It's got character. They have character.
It's got a ton of character. And then when I got to school is really when I started to get into cars in college, right? So I didn't start getting that into cars young.
Yeah.
And I got brought into cars by the VW community and the Euro community.
Says a lot.
Nice. Yeah, right. And like, right, that's like probably the second car I ever drove that like I really kind of fell in love with was a Mark II with a VR6 swap, Mark II Golf with a VR6 swap. Just such a fantastic little car. And they just, right, the way they look. And then I owned an E30, right, 325 IS E30. It was on bottle caps. I was on the hunt for basket weaves. I own a Mini Cooper, F56 Mini Cooper now, and I'm like looking at, do they make basket weaves in 5x1, like 5x110, right? Like, I'm a big like that 80s Euro style. That's forever my favorite.
I think that I really do like basket weaves on cars of that era. Mm-hmm. But I think part of the reason why they did fall off is because like I can't imagine seeing basket weaves on like an
No.
FRS or
No, it looks stupid.
or like even like a big. I can't imagine walking into a show and seeing an LS 400 or an LS 500 on basket weaves. Like I just
Don't give me ideas.
I mean,
no, but legitimately, like at the same time though, like I also think that those are just such unique like looks in cars.
oh, I agree.
That they don't match with a lot of stuff, right? Like because
No,
like I've seen them before. I don't
need
think
that 80s boxiness. Like that they need that era to shine.
Yeah, because I've seen Mark IIs on TE37s and they just look bland. Like they just look whatever, right? I've seen
like it's not
on
bad, but you're like,
okay.
It doesn't have the flair. I can see that.
No. Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't match. Like it doesn't feel right. I will say this though. A like an 80, 90s Mercedes on Workmeisters would look clean.
That
would look clean.
I'm like those late 80s like
oh yeah.
Yeah, the real square body but on some deep dish Meister S1R.
Yes.
Deep lip. Yeah, that would.
Yeah. No, for sure.
That would do it. That would do it for me.
And I guess that's kind of that's sort of what I'm getting at is I think largely the reason why the wheels that might be up on Wheel Mount Rushmore, right, for the most popular, like the RPF ones, the T37s and stuff, is because the scene is so JDM. Yeah. And JDM like 2000, like maybe 90s, but mostly 2000s plus.
Yeah.
And those vehicles, those body styles, they need a wheel that isn't super overstated. Yeah. And I don't think any of those wheels are, right?
No, and I think that's kind of what makes a lot of those wheels like that is the charm of those wheels is that like because they're not the focal point, they kind of become the focal point in a way. Like they do a good job of like adding a nice bit of color to the palette. Like it's not the core feature of the painting you're looking at, but it really brings it together. And I think that's kind of how a lot of like modern wheels or at least wheels on modern like builds go. That like it kind of just brings it together for the most part. All right. Now,
yes, I know what you're going to say.
Well, before we get into our topics of the day, I think it'd be fun to pick out one vehicle for each other's wheel. So you said basket weaves, I said Regas. What vehicle do you think you'd like to see on those that would look really good? So I'm going to start because after you mentioned basket weaves, I was really thinking about how great that would look on an AW11 MR2.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a really good one.
That would be a very good looking combo.
Yeah, well, because I think about like stock Fiero wheels, right? I know comparing an MR2 to a Fiero or whatever, but like it's still you can kind of see where I'm getting at. Yeah, like stock wheels, stock GM wheels on a Fiero kind of have that aesthetic. They just sort of look like knockoff basket weaves.
Yeah.
So I can definitely see where like a properly done MR2 with basket weaves would look really good. Yeah, that is a good crossover, right? Japanese, so a JDM with Euro wheels. I think that's a
and I think that like that's very period correct. I think that's just like that would be a very well done, or that could be a very well executed combo.
Yeah. Regas. What would I put it on?
God's chosen wheel.
Part of me also wants to pick a car that I think I can't imagine you in because it would be funny.
Is there anything that you can't imagine me in though?
Yeah, I think so. So the answer to like what I can't imagine you in, right, is like a like B8, B7, like A4. I can't imagine you driving like an older A4.
I mean, you're probably right about that because I'll be honest, if I was going to buy something like that, I'm just getting an S car.
Yeah. No, exactly.
Like, because I mean, I'm the same way with BMWs. Like, you'll probably never see me in like a base model E36. Like, I'm not getting in a 318. No. It's just not going to happen. 318 enjoyers, sorry. Yep. It's if you see me in a 318 Ti, it's not mine.
It's because you're broke. It's because Wook finally
Yeah.
succumbed to. It's because he spent all the money on the freaking Regas.
Yeah. I would just sit on a box of Regas in the driveway
Drove a 318.
before I drove a 318. Absolutely. You will. Yeah. Couldn't happen. I mean, I could buy 5 318s for the cost of a set of Regas.
Yeah.
Or at least you should be able to buy 5 318s for the cost of a set of Regas. If anybody's charging more than $3,000 for a 318, we're gonna come find you because I got something to say.
They are. The E36 318s are going for way too much money.
If you own an E36 318 and you have that on Marketplace listed for anything with 4 digits, I'm gonna come fucking hit you.
Oh man. So like I'm kind of between two things.
All right, let's hear it. You can put both out.
One is I'd really like to see like a nicely done, well lowered E39 525 Ti. Like a nice, clean, white wagon on Regas. It's lowered would be nice. I think that would look really nice. And I can't imagine you driving it.
Because there's not an M5 Touring, is there?
Huh?
There's not an M5 Touring of that generation, is there?
Nope. You can swap it.
That's what I'd have to do then. But yeah. I mean, I could definitely see Regas looking good on.
The other, honestly, is an LS400.
What generation? If it's a UCF 10, I think Regas on a UCF 10 would actually look pretty good. But I think
I was thinking
as they get
UCF,
rounder, I think it would look less good.
I think they might still look good on UCF 20, but yeah, UCF 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that would be the right call for sure.
Yeah. 100%.
Because I think that's where it comes in, right? Is like either way, right? You know what? You're right. You're right about the Euro thing. Because I'm like, as I'm thinking through cars that it would look good on, I'm like kind of leaning back towards like 90s.
Very like 80s,
Euro.
90s boxy, like.
Because even an LS400, right? It's got a Euro aesthetic.
Yeah, no, it. I think
it's the reason why I like it. It's the reason why I have one.
That's very fair. I could see that because especially like I think a UCF 10 specifically, because I feel like it starts moving away from the Euro-ness as it ages. But I think the
UCF 20 still kind of has that like 2000s Mercedes, even though it's like a 90s car, right? It's like actually I should say it the other way. Mercedes kind of follows.
Yeah,
I feel like.
But I feel like the UCF 10 specifically, just because that was obviously first. I feel like that really took after like the E34 and the Mercedes of that time. I don't know what the chassis code is because I'm not that familiar with Mercedes platforms, but
I'm not either. I was actually thinking like
somebody in the comments below is going to let us know about how 80s Mercedes was actually the peak of automotive history and will never be as good as.
I do think that like really if I could get my hands on like a clean like E-Class 90s, I think I could rock that. That would be a ton of fun. Those are nice honestly, looking cars.
The only Mercedes from like that era that I'd have really any interest in is like a 190E, and like obviously that's
that doesn't
like
surprise me.
Top shelf pick, right? But like if I was collecting cars, I would want one of those. But there's nothing else that I've seen that I'm like, well, actually that's a lie. An SL600.
Okay.
That also an SL. Mm-hmm. Those fuck.
You know what else Regas would look good on?
That SL.
The S66 or what is it? The S660. The
little Honda
K car.
Yep. Like the modern
two-seater
Honda
K car.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want an S660 so bad. They look so angry for no reason, and I'm sure they drive like just a can of fucking riled up bees. But
I'm sure.
But it looks so fucking cool.
I had a buddy that had like, what is it, the like Toyota T100. I can't remember what they're called, right? Mm-hmm. But like the that old era like S10 competitor.
Yeah.
And it just we always
the Toyota pickup, yeah.
Yeah, we would always joke because the motor, like he goes to accelerate it, and where it just sounds like a pissed off bag of hornets. Like it's so You do anything, it's just like, ah!
Yeah, no, that is exactly how a lot of
Bad.
I mean, like anything, a lot of those like '80s, like early '90s, like 4 cylinders, like unless it's like one of the notable ones, they kind of all just sound bad.
Sound really
and I can really see why like the American dudes, like the muscle car guys, are like, you know, like if you were coming from a V8, like imagine you listen to like a chopping 351, and then like you gotta like listen to some kid in his fucking 22 RE truck, fucking just mad it with a cherry bomb down the road. I'd be like, I'd be pissed too. Like, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, I was like, to be fair, right? To like, it's not like VW made a good sounding 4-cylinder. Like the closest is probably a 16 valve, right? Like,
yeah,
that's probably the closest to sounding decent.
Yeah, I mean, like
that they made.
The 2-liter 8 valve definitely just does not make shit.
The ABA.
It makes noise, but it's about all
the ABA. I've owned 2 ABA cars. Yes, I'm aware. I had a Mark II with an ABA and a Mark III with an ABA.
I love giving my buddy shit with his Cabrio that has that in it, because it's like, nah, dude, it's. I mean,
my Mark II, or my Mark II that I had an ABA swap, I did an OBD2 swap in that thing too, full harness. Like that was a lot of dedication for a really, really bad motor.
It really is. The thing's just like,
it's such a piece of crap.
Dude, there's so. I don't think my buddy's like. He's had it for a good while. And Garrett, if you're watching this, I'm definitely trashing your Cabrio because it's fucking the silliest thing. But it's fucking hilarious because I mean, like, there's just he'll have like a phantom problem where like I remember a period of probably like 2 years where it would just misfire at random, and like it would go away. Like you just shut it off and like start it back up, and it just go away, and like you couldn't ever find it. Like we tried dozens of times trying to find this. Like, you just drive it, it'd act up, you'd be cruising on the freeway, act up for a little bit, go back to normal.
Yep.
Couldn't find it. Couldn't find nothing wrong with it. Great compression, no issues. Like, just every once in a while, just be like, nah, I don't want to run right.
Yep.
Change all kinds of stuff in there.
The ABA for you.
Yep. And it's just like, what a pile of shit. Like,
yep. Throttle cable doesn't really, the throttle cables are always like really dog crap on those too. Like, it's just springy, spongy as crap.
Yep.
Yeah, no. I knew somebody who was, I don't know if they ever actually pulled it through, but they were discussing supercharging the ABA, which is like the biggest waste of freaking, like, why would you do that?
Yeah, I can't imagine that it would be more worthwhile to do that than just.
I think they were going to get like 170 horsepower.
Yeah, but I mean, doesn't like a 180 just make that like.
Yeah.
Just
that's the point. It's they were going to do all this work to supercharge it for like 170 horsepower. Crank.
I mean, at least like in Honda land, right? Like you could just like you could slap a turbo on a D15, D16, and like you could just make some power. Like you could make 300 horsepower in a single jingle all day. But like,
there's just something about a community of guys that like. I mean, for God's sakes, the engine in the community is called the 2-point slow, and people still use it, right? Like, it's.
Oh, you're gonna have a diehard for every like. It doesn't matter the car, the engine, the wheel. There's a dude for that. Like,
the guy I bought my Mark III
slow
from.
Guy who's like, he would rather have nothing else.
The guy I bought my Mark III from, his name is Colbin Hilbury. If you ever listen to this, I'm shouting you out. Absolutely, he's an awesome little dude, right? Awesome dude down in South Carolina. And I drove down from Michigan to buy the Mark III off of him. It was his Mark III, he'd blowered it, right? He built it with the 2-liter or the 2-point slow, and he had a Mark II or Mark III Jetta that he also built with a 2-point slow, and he loved that motor. He was like, I don't want to go fast. I don't care about going fast. I just like going on really long straight roads, rolling the window down and chilling because that's what this motor does. And I'm like,
you know what?
That's honestly, fair, man.
He knows what he wants,
Respect.
And he's just doing it. And like, I kind of wish we had a little bit more of that in the car scene.
I agree. I
could, like, somebody who's like, yeah, no, I don't want to make the power. Because half the time, somebody will complain about the power, and it's like, okay, but you don't do anything with it. Like, you're not actually utilizing it.
So before you go too deep on this, what we were going to talk about today was just letting ourselves rant to get it out.
Yes.
And talk about stuff that upsets us. And I have the list of rants that we were going to talk about, and one of yours is perfect for this. So we're going to give ourselves 10 minutes tops, and I'm going to give you the floor to rant about people doing too much to their cars.
Yes. Okay, so I don't know if I can contain myself for just 10 minutes, but I'll do my best. Listen, when it comes to overbuying, overbuilding, it just pisses me off. Because there's so many people who really have no idea what the fuck they're talking about. And they just like talking about spending money, is what it seems like. Because half these people don't know shit. I mean, and I'm gonna like use the Twitter audience, which is not a great source of material here. But like, I can't tell you how many times I see a tweet and reply to somebody, and I'm not gonna name any names, but it'll be somebody in reply to a mutual, and they're like, oh yeah, you don't even do anything with that, or like, oh you should have angle on that on your drift car, and this and that. It's like, dude, if you think you need an angle kit to just go and slide around, like, you don't need an angle kit to drift. It's like, it helps, but if you're like, if you've never drifted before, or you've been to one drift event and your entire goal for your car is to slap WiseFab on it, you're already going in the wrong direction. You already don't know what the hell you're doing. You should learn what your car is doing, how it's behaving, and alter it from that point, so that way you can actually understand as a driver what is happening with your car.
You mean I can't just buy my way into being a good driver?
No, you're not gonna just buy a insert whatever drift chassis. You're not gonna go pick up an E36 and grab a WiseFab kit, and all of a sudden you're Chelsea Denofa or Adam LZ. It's not gonna happen. Sorry. Hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that's not gonna happen. You could tell your mom you failed. I don't care. You could tell your mom, Whooper on the internet said that I can't buy a WiseFab and just be good. And she's gonna look at you and be like, what the hell are you talking about? But you can't. Like, it's just, I'm tired of hearing it. I see it so often, or like people are just like, oh yeah, you just do this. Insert, oh yeah, you just do that. And then they just rattle off, just $30,000 worth of work. Like, okay, like, I don't think you guys actually understand what goes into that. Like, you can't just slap a turbo on something.
Just tune it.
Yeah, it just needs a tune. Speaking of that just reminded me, I was scrolling through Marketplace and I saw a relatively clean FD with just had a brand new motor installed, and all it needs is an ECU. And I'm like, yeah, sure, buddy, because like, if I wanted to just walk right into a situation that was going to fuck me in the ass, that would probably be the one. So, yeah, I can't imagine. I don't understand where people got into the whole overbuilding thing, and because it's really an American car culture thing. Because when you look at a lot of the other, like, you look at car culture in other places, like Japan, for instance, and I'm going to use that because everybody's going to think Japan everything, right? So
I was about to do that.
Japan.
I was about to make that joke.
So, yeah, I know. Japan, Mecca for white people, we know. But listen, over there, a lot of these guys that go to the track, they're doing the most with the least. And that's where like missile culture came from. And I don't agree with I don't like drift missiles. I think if you're going to drift a car, you should still have a good looking presentable car. But I understand, like, if you're just having a seat time car and you're just beating the shit out of it and you're stuffing into a wall every weekend, fine. At that point, a missile is okay to me. But what drives me nuts is you've got all these dudes who like spend so much time pursuing a build. Like, their whole point is like, I want to build this car to drift, and then they never drift. They're like, I want to build this car to be a drag car, and then they never drag. Like, they're never at the track because they're always just like, oh yeah, I'm just waiting. I got to order this, or I got to do this, or I still have to do this. What is the point? What's the point of getting, $30,000 into spending $30,000 in a FRS to slide it, and then you're not sliding it because you're too busy trying to make the money or spend the money to slide it. Like, you could buy the car from the factory and just go slide it.
They're scared.
Yeah.
I think fundamentally it's people that are scared to be bad at
Well,
something.
and I think a lot of it too comes down to misinformation, because I think a lot of people, I can't remember, exactly how long ago. It's definitely been a few years, but I think like during kind of like the boom of COVID, right? I remember seeing all kinds of like videos where it's like, get into drifting, how to get into drifting, how to do this. And like you go, or like what you need to start drifting. And every single one of them is like, yeah, you need a dual caliper setup, a handbrake, angle kit. And it's like, no, you didn't need any of that. You needed some balls is what you needed. Like you needed to just fucking stab the throttle and hit the clutch a couple times. You could treat the clutch like it owes you money. It's a clutch isn't that expensive. And if you're
it's a wearable.
If you're
Clutches are wearables.
Yeah, and if you're worried about like replacing a clutch or how expensive a clutch might be, what the hell are you looking at dual caliper handbrakes for? Like,
also, sorry to interrupt you, right? But shout out to our buddy Bailey. He posted a video earlier talking about his new hydro, and one of the things he mentioned was, he says, yeah, I put the hydro on the other side of the shifter because I don't want to be tempted to just grab it and rely on a hydro and become a worse drifter. Like, so shout out to people that like actually get it, that you don't need to rely on this stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Good. And if you do want a handbrake and or any metal fabrication, make sure you hit up Bailey. We'll put a link in the description because he's an awesome guy and he definitely deserves it.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of the end of that, because I mean, I could kind of
probably keep going.
I could go on forever, and it would just be me getting angry. So
angry. Yeah. All right, 6.5 minutes ranting about people overbuilding. I think that's pretty good. I think that's a pretty good rant.
Yeah, it's pretty solid. I think everybody gets the point. If they didn't, then you can argue with me on Twitter. I got time.
Yeah. And speaking of arguing on Twitter, I'm gonna give my hot take pseudo rant.
Okay.
That is, I'm going to start with one. I might move it into another.
Okay. All right.
So my like thing that gets me really worked up is adapters and spacers.
I knew when you said argument on Twitter, because we were this stems from the group chat the other day.
Yeah, no. So like to be clear, I don't have an inherent issue with spacers, right? Keep them kind of limited. You want to tune in a little bit of offset. I understand, right? But if you're relying on spacers to get the entire fitment of your car, stop being poor and go get wheels that have the proper offset. All you're doing is putting a little Band-Aid on it because you're too broke to actually get custom wheels. That's how I view big spacers, right? And you want to know why? When I started my career, right, in automotive, I started as a wheel engineer. And one of the very first things that I was shown was all the little intricate engineering that goes into making a wheel stay attached to the car. It's because, right, the wheel, it's that surface, it's a little bit concave. And it's a little bit concave because when it clamps to the rotor, you want to make sure that it has a nice, good engagement. But also, you don't want it because it's going to rock a little bit as it moves because it's being subjected to significant lateral forces. Yeah. And so they're clamped in a very specific way so that the lug nuts don't walk themselves back. Because anybody who's ever actually worked with machining anything understands that bolts will walk themselves out if they're subject to significant vibration. And guess what? Fucking wheels and bolt circles are.
That's kind of their whole thing, is just fucking eating vibrations.
Cars are vibrating. Cars vibrate all the time. Yeah. That's all they do is freaking vibrate. They vibrate, they make noise, and they're powerful. Okay? Unless they're like a Mitsubishi Mirage or something. And then they're not powerful, they just vibrate and make noise.
They just vibrate and make noise anyways.
Yeah. Just like a little chihuahua. Like, that's all the Mitsubishi Mirage is to me. It's a fucking chihuahua. Anyway, that's right. So spacers, you're taking this well-engineered surface. If you're actually buying like a decent part and a decent wheel, they care about this. So you're taking something that's good, and then because it looks better, you're making it worse. Yeah. You're making something worse for looks, and that's stupid. And then we're going to take it one step further. We're going to go, oh, I want this specific wheel, so I'm going to put a different bolt pattern on it. Okay, so you're saying now I'm going to add two interfaces that aren't going to sit properly. Now they're threaded in the wrong directions, right? And this just, it doesn't make sense to me why you would just look at something and go like, okay, I'm going to go the stupid lazy way about it and put an adapter on my car. If you really, really want the different bolt pattern, get new hubs.
Yeah.
Get custom-made fucking hubs.
And that is literally what I said in like the argument originally on Twitter. I was like, or just actually get hubs that are the right thing. And if they don't exist, well, guess what? Like,
go get them made.
Like everybody who's had to do something in the aftermarket, you got to spend a couple dollars to R&D something. That's how it works. That is just literally the cost of it. Nobody just developed a supercharger one day for a platform and was like, yeah, we're just going to do this now. Like, no. You had to, there was R&D. Like, it happened. Like, and let's be real. Developing hubs in a different bolt pattern, relatively simple. Especially if it's pressing, you don't even got to really change much. You could just develop a new spindle and that's it.
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. Like, getting hubs in a different bolt circle isn't that big of a deal.
No.
It's a little bit expensive, but it's because you want a very specific
hit up Bailey, because if you've got the dimensions, you could literally just hit up Bailey, and I'm sure he can make you a spindle that'll do what you need it to do.
I'm sure. And so this is what it drives me nuts, because I'm going to go buy parts that make my car worse because I want it to look pretty, and then I'm going to like shit on bolt patterns that aren't the right size, or I'm going to make all these like modifications, or I'm going to add a whole crap load of extra distance just because I want it to look hella flush. It's stupid. It's stupid. I made fun of Volkswagen guys when they did it. I've been a Volkswagen guy. I made fun of Stance guys. I made fun of Camber bros. We made fun of ricers. We should be making fun of people that use excessive like spacers and and bolt pattern adapters. We should be making fun of them. We should be making fun of them because they're stupid.
Yeah. Okay. No, I agree. I agree 100%. And if you
feel a little better,
if you're running running spacers. Okay, if you're like sub 10 mil,
whatever. Yeah,
it's probably not that severe. I can understand like needing it for like a little bit of more clearance on the caliper or something like that.
Check your bolts, dude. Your bolts and your studs.
Well,
because they are designed around a very specific amount of bite.
And I was just about to get into that too, where do not run subpar hard. If you know you're going to be running spacers of any kind, I would probably just go to putting ARP hardened fucking studs in your shit.
Yes.
I wouldn't. Yes. I wouldn't even chance it with OEM studs, especially like I know things like Z's love shearing studs. Factory studs. Why even chance it? You could get a superior product to deal with it if you're going to do it. Especially like adapters. Stop buying your Temu, Amazon adapters because those are made of subpar hardware. They are going to break. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
Now, if somebody wants to make a super high quality adapter and they're going to make sure that it is machined perfectly and that all the mating surfaces are going to be good and they can prove that, I don't have a problem with it. I have a problem with making stupid decisions about let's be honest. Losing a wheel while you are driving is, let's say, second worst case scenario to your engine blowing up. Like,
personally, I would much rather lose an engine than lose the wheel, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, like, generally repairing wheel, like all the damage that's going to happen. It's going to be cheaper than repairing an engine, which is why people probably prefer to lose their wheel over their engine.
Maybe. I mean, like, let's say you lose a front wheel. I mean, you could dive and now you're messing up a splitter, fenders, all kinds of suspension components, rotor, I mean, if you got something...
If you're driving a Honda, probably your fucking oil pan.
You could toast an oil pan. I mean, if it's your lowered
which
stance
might be
car,
your engine anyway.
You might do a lot of damage if you lose a wheel. So I mean, why risk that? Not even to mention the potential of you harming somebody else. Like,
no, and that's exactly.
If you're gonna go and lose your wheel on a skid pad and damage your own shit, be my guest. I really don't care. But if you're gonna drive it on the road,
I still think you're stupid though.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I would definitely be telling them they're stupid the whole way they're sliding around in the skid pad. But what I'm really gonna do is let you know that you're stupid when I'm pulling over on the side of the road and dragging you out of your car in the ditch because you lost control of it because you lost the wheel and now you've got 3 lanes of highway traffic stopped because they're trying to figure out how big of a dumbass you are.
You sound like you've driven on Southfield Freeway a lot.
Let me tell you. I've seen some wheels, and they weren't attached to the car no more.
For anybody that knows, man, like doesn't know, Michigan Southfield Freeway in the Dearborn area is misery to drive because it's like 2 to 3 lanes, but it's like an inset highway, right? So it's the freaking like retaining walls on either side. There's no shoulder. If there is a wreck, if somebody loses a wheel, massive delays because it just shuts the whole damn thing down.
Oh, 100%.
It sucks.
Yeah. I mean, and honestly, your wheel's going to be playing Pong like between the barricades, like the brain cells of most of the drivers on that freeway. So
and I can say, right, OEMs go through a lot of trouble to make sure that you guys are going to be safe when you abuse your wheel mounting.
Yes, because
they do. I know for a fact there are OEMs out there that test joint durability for long periods of time with 1 to 2 lug nuts off because they know you're just going to not put them on.
Oh yeah,
for some reason, or you're gonna break one. You're gonna go, it's fine, and then drive it just the same way that they know that you're gonna drive for like 150 freaking miles on a spare tire when you're not supposed to. They're not meant for it. A spare tire is not an extra tire. A spare tire is a temporary tire.
Looking at you, Ultima, in the left lane doing 90 on 4 spares.
Yeah, but like and like you said about the bolts, right? Bolts are meant to elongate.
Yes.
Right? Your bolts are meant to elongate because they have to actually pull a clamping force. You know, that is an intent that you're putting tension in there. That's a purposeful thing. Well, and they have to be replaced after you do it so many times.
Exactly.
I can't,
well, and
it's
how
like
many people
15 on average, I think, is actually how many you're supposed to replace them for most OEMs. That's internal. I'm just saying internal result, right?
Yeah.
That's what the recommendations are.
I was going to say too, I mean, it's going to depend too, like, you know, just how much wear obviously they're going to see because most dealers aren't going to, you know, just go out of their way to do it. But
to be clear, it's if you're torquing it properly.
Well, and I was just about to say,
if you over torque it, that number goes down.
Exactly. And I was about to say though, how many people have you watched put on a set of wheels where they just run it in with an impact and that's it? Like that. And I can tell you right now, in shops, I see dudes do it all the time.
I mean, for God's sakes, right? There's a whole, it's the Ugga-Duggas, right? Like that's the people. How many Ugga-Duggas? Yeah, like that's the joke because people know they just they just pound the shit out of it.
They just cram it on. Yeah, I mean, most people aren't properly torquing down their wheels.
No,
you should be. There's a reason why.
You should.
There's a reason why it has a torque spec.
Yeah, there's a reason why most things on the car have a torque spec.
Oh, absolutely.
It's because they engineered it and designed it and tested it. And I know people are going to be out there like, oh, engineers don't know. Shut the hell up. Shut the hell up. Yes, they do. Sorry, I should have added people saying engineers don't know what they're doing to the rant list.
I'm sure. There's a good chance, not going to say everybody, but there's a good chance that if you're a Subway sandwich artist, you probably don't know more about bolt hardware than we know, okay? I don't think you're the guy at all to be taking that.
I think there's another rant that you wanted to get on here that kind of goes into this one, and that is half-ass maintenance.
Yes. Yeah.
I want to hear it.
So, listen, I'm all for modification, right? That's probably the funnest part of cars to me, and I would say to most people. I think most people probably find the most joy in their cars when they're actually modifying it or using the car modified to some extent, right? Whether it's going to the track, going to a show, whatever. Yeah. What really fucking pisses me off is when people have issues with their car, you know, and like, oh, my tires are shit, or this is a problem, and yeah, but I need to upgrade my brakes. I need to do, you know, this upgrade. I need to put this upgrade on my car. I need to make more power. And it's like, more power? You're worried about turbo in your car, but you can't put spark plugs in it, dude. Like you can't. Yeah. You're worried about that, but you're not gonna replace the valve cover gasket that's been leaking for the last 30,000 miles. And then like, even if you do that, you're not even gonna take the time to clean the oil off the block. And I mean, like, that's like,
I've done that. I'm sorry.
It just drives me. It drives me nuts because I see people all the time where like they talk about all the stuff they want to do and the things they're gonna do, and they start buying parts. Right? You know, I can't tell you how many times I've seen somebody, you know, come to me with armfuls of suspension because they're like, oh, I'm gonna put my coilovers on, and I'm gonna put these end links, adjustable end links, and these adjustable toe arms, and all this stuff. And it's like, yeah, okay, dude, but like, you know
The
this.
bushings are all shot.
Did you get like ball joints? Because I mean, your ball joints are flapping around in here, willy nilly. I mean, you're gonna do that? And all? No, I don't have the. I don't want to do that right now. I don't have the money to buy ball joints. Well, instead of buying coilovers, you probably should have bought ball joints. Instead of buying adjustable toe links, you probably should have bought ball joints because
Average Raceland buyer.
yeah, exactly. I mean, when you're already affirming your $600 coilovers, you've probably got bigger problems. But at the end of the day, if you're maintenance over modification is a good rule to follow. If you have issues, I can't tell you how many times I've heard somebody say something stupid like, "Oh yeah, my car has a problem with the tune." I highly doubt it. Most of the time, if you have a problem, it's because you actually have a problem. I mean, granted, there is the 1 out of 10 chance that you do have an issue with the tune, but I can tell you right now, if you have an issue, if you call your tuner and say, "Yeah, I have a problem. The tune you gave me is bad. I drove on it for 6 months. It was fine, but now all of a sudden it's acting up." That dude's going to look at you. He's going to ask you a series of questions about what you've done. And then by the time he gets off the phone with you, he's going to be like, "That guy's a fucking idiot." So, no, rarely are you going to have encounter an issue with a tune unless that tune was done 40 minutes ago.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to be your problem. Worry about your maintenance, fix things.
That the general rule of thumb is if somebody doesn't have one of these sitting with their stuff and they're complaining about an engine tune, it's probably that they're an idiot.
I was going to say, honestly, even if they don't have one of those, they don't know how to read one of those, then I don't ever want to hear you say something about... if you don't know how to read that, if you don't know how to use that tool, you probably shouldn't question anything your tuner says. I think you should probably just take his word for it.
I've met people who honestly worked on cars that didn't know they had to gap their plugs.
I think I heard somebody the other day say something like, "We still do that?" And I'm like, "Are you being for real?" Like, yes.
Have you worked on your car in the ever?
Just because a lot of iridium plugs for modern vehicles come pre-gapped, it doesn't mean you shouldn't check it, because I promise they're not pre-gapped well. Just because they're pre-gapped to a gap, it ain't the right
there's
one.
There's a gap.
It ain't
I don't know what the
right
gap
one.
is, but there's a gap.
there will be a gap there. But yeah, so at the end of the day, I need you guys to actually do your fucking maintenance, because so often do I see just the absolute dumbest shit. You're worried about putting coilovers on a car that's got 200,000 miles on it, and every bushing under the car is long since been dry rotted and ready to fall out. It doesn't make any sense. Do the fucking maintenance.
I need to do maintenance. I need to do my
maintenance is the worst part. I get it.
I know it is.
But
okay. As soon as you said this, right, like they're people's favorite part. The thing I was thinking is there is hundreds of millions of dollars in industry dedicated to home renovation, right?
Yeah.
People love to make stuff reflect what they like. And car guys, that's all it is, right? Car people, that's all it is. We're doing the same thing to the car that we do to the house.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
I think every hobby realistically has that function.
Yeah, and it's right. It's a hobby that's like dedicated to making it your way. Now, like, let's be perfectly clear, right? There's a lot of car people out there that like to modify their cars that have really bad taste. Just the same way, there's a lot of people that have really bad taste in their house.
Yes.
It's absolutely true. If you paint your walls in some shade of like bright purple, sorry.
Good thing I didn't paint these walls. This room came painted this color. I'm going
to be perfectly honest. I said bright purple without realizing your walls were purple until I said it. I was like, wait, shit.
Yeah, no, I came to this room and it was purple already. I have yet to have any time to do any kind
purple.
I mean, I don't know if you can see it, but I mean, like, there's marks in the ceiling because it's sloped and
just like
stuff
tape
hit
marks.
Like,
and,
it's this whole thing needs to.
But
trust me, my OCD is going crazy.
I'm sure
at any given moment.
But I mean, like, rightly so, it happens.
Yeah.
So people are going to be into that, and you know what the worst part of like having a house is, and I've been dealing with this constantly. It's the freaking maintenance. It's constant. Everything's always breaking. It sucks. People like to put it off. And you know what a lot of people do? They just sell the damn house and move to a new one.
I mean, honestly, when I hear it, when 3 days go by and I haven't heard you say something went wrong with the house, I start thinking you might have moved out and got a rental, because like it's. I mean, for a while there, it was like every day you're all like, dude, you know. I get 10 pictures honest, followed by a dude. And then... something did happen today. I'll tell you later. Oh
no. But no, Hannah's get in touch with her dad, who should be able to put me in contact with somebody.
Okay, cool. Oh, I think I did catch a glimpse of your issues.
Said here, something, so, yeah. Anyway, so. But actually getting on to the maintenance thing, because that kind of gets to my, like you mentioned, tires, and that gets into one of my pet peeves, one of my rantable items, is stretched tires. Okay.
I know you are not a fan of stretched tires.
No. Okay. So, look. People don't know anything about tires, right?
This is true.
I mean, the average person calls the whole assembly their tires or their wheels. My wheels are damaged. Which part?
Half of them don't even say that. Half of them just hit you straight with the rims.
Yeah, right, or the rims, right? No, you're right. So nobody knows anything about it. Even within the auto industry, working to a lot of engineers, they're black and round. They're black and round. They're made of rubber. Okay, they're black. They're round. They're made of rubber. They're made of steel, polyester, nylon. There's a lot of crap that goes into a tire, which means there's a lot of information that is in the industry that we know, that we've researched, that because I'm a tire engineer. For anybody that doesn't know, this is what I've done. I've been doing it for a decade now. There's a governing body. They're called ETRTO, the European Tire and Rim something organization. I can't remember what the other T stands for, or one of the T's stands for tire. One of the ones stands for rim. Everybody just calls it ETRTO. Let's be perfectly honest, right? Then there's another one called TNRA, which is the Tire Rim Association. That one's Americas, right? So European Americas. There's both of them. They work together. They're both governing bodies. And in that governing body, there's a whole big-ass list of tires for every aspect ratio. And people don't know this. There's actually lists of approved tires. There are approved tire sizes. You can't just go make a tire in any random size that you want. It doesn't exist. I remember I had this conversation with group chat the other day. Somebody was asking about a tire, and I was like, oh, no, it doesn't exist in that rim diameter. It exists in a 14, a 16, and a 17, but not a 15. Anyway, and in that list of all the tires and of all the tire sizes, there's something called approved rim widths. And there's a list of rim widths that the tire is supposed to go on. Yep. And you'll see it, and it might be like 6.60, 6.5, 7, and 7.5. And if you put it on something larger than that, it means that it has been empirically noted or empirically checked that this tire, on average, on this rim diameter, is probably going to debead at some point.
Yes.
It's going to, because, right, your tire, those profiles at the bottom of the tire is meant to mount to the profile of the wheel in a very specific way. And it's held on by tension and pressure. And when you have a lot of grip and you make that thing go like this, and it holds it, it's going to go, and it's going to pull right off. And then you're going to destroy your expensive wheels. You're going to screw up your tires. You're going to probably break your car. And you might crash into somebody. So in the same fashion as I think you're an idiot for messing with your wheel joint that was carefully engineered to make sure that it was good, I think you're an idiot for stretching your tire just so it can look good when it's been very well studied and very well shown by very smart engineers over decades that if you do that, you have an extremely high chance of fucking up and ruining your shit. It's stupid. And you look like an asshole. There.
Listen. The Subway sandwich artist who no longer works at Subway and who has now been a Bell tire technician for the last 2 months, he knows more, okay? It's okay to put those 195s on a 9.5-inch wheel.
Will it mount? Probably.
Just because you could mount it doesn't mean you should.
No. And let's be honest, right? Okay. If you are making a show car, to me, overstretching the crap out of your tires is the equivalent of the Bluetooth drive shaft. It's the equivalent.
Yeah, because what you're really doing, to me, I think a better example is like you're falsifying records. Because like you did it, yes, there's a tire there, but it's not the right one, which means you're not actually, you had to fake it to get that low.
Well,
like,
I think
you're not getting, you're faking the achievement, right? Because I know that's kind of like a big thing. Everybody loves inventing new awards for themselves in the show car scene, and if somebody can argue with me about that if they'd like, but I don't care that you're the first Saturn SL2 on T37s with, you know, a 195 wide tire on it. We didn't need that achievement. It wasn't
You're getting really
before.
like boomer Corvette placard
levels
of like
they do the
there.
same shit. They do the same shit. So, you know, it's like you just invented an award for yourself, and
but no, like my thought, like to me, what it is, right, is you have done something that is purely for aesthetics, right? That lifted truck that has impossible geometry just so it can look cool. It's the same shit to me as overstretching your tire.
Yeah,
you did something that fundamentally makes your car less safe to drive, less capable to drive, and you did it so it looks good. Fine, it's a show car, but it's no different than the truck guy that decides that doesn't put drive shafts or half shafts in his truck because it doesn't physically fit. It's no different to me because you just did it because it looks cool. Yeah. That's it. And you made your car worse. Yes, because if you have a car that is designed to run on 255s and you throw a 205 on it, you have less tread in contact with the ground. And believe it or not, yeah, that actually matters. And if you hit that sidewall is not designed to be fucking abraded. It's not designed to be driven on. It's gonna wear super fast. So you have a car, it looks broke, it drives broke, it's kind of broke, and it's gonna break easy. And you're gonna have to just keep buying more tires because I just don't understand it. You've taken something and made it fundamentally less useful because it looks cool.
The only way I think it's even remotely acceptable to do this is if you're just straight up like, this car sits in your garage, it drives onto a trailer, you drive it to a show,
yes,
you drive it off the trailer, you park it, and then you might move it around at parking lot speeds within a show, and then it's back on the trailer. I mean, and even then, I still don't think, I mean, doing extreme stretch, it's stupid. I don't even think, like, extreme stretch looks good. I mean, like, you could take something, I'm definitely guilty of doing little stretches, you know, here and there.
I mean, if it's like maxes out at 7.5 and you throw it on at 8, fine.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of like what I've done, you know, like something that's like, oh yeah, you know, just put the 265 on the 10, and it's like, it's like not quite square, you know, like it, but it's not the end of the world, right?
But like the thing that is though is it's another thing with tires that people don't know is tire sizing. Like tire dimensions in a space they're defined by an envelope, right? So that's what ETRTO does when you define the tire size is they basically go, here's the diameter, here's the width, it has to be under this, and then we know what the nominal is.
Yeah.
So, right, nominal for you people don't know, right? That's the kind of where it's generally going to be, you know? That's the median or the mean or whatever fucking term you want to use, right? The nominal. So you know where the nominal is, you know where the max is, you know it's going to be somewhere in there. It could be wider, it could be less wide, it could be fatter, it could be less fat, it could have vertical, whatever, right? It could be anything in that.
Yep.
So if you are pushing your dimensions and your fit so hard to get flush that you have to stretch a tire, you're already operating so far out of the margins of what you can guarantee a tire is going to be, that there's no way you're going to do that without rubbing unless you have just bought through every tire and now you only care about how it looks and you don't care about how it actually drives.
Yep.
Just, I don't get it. I think it's stupid. I know DJ's going to be all like, you can't say the word because he's going to call me something that's a slur, but I'm going to get called a slur for this.
Yeah, you probably will. We'll have to.
You already called me one yesterday. All right. I think we have time for one more.
All right. Well, actually, I would like to take over one of yours.
Yes.
Now that we're talking about slurs,
Oh God! Don't tell me you're not gonna go there.
No, so since we're talking about slurs, because I'm famous for having the M word muted on Twitter.
Okay,
you know,
good. I was really afraid you were gonna go for the other wheel one.
No. I wasn't gonna go for the other wheel one.
Okay.
No, I want to cover the Miata warship.
Oh yeah.
Because
I think we can both do that one.
We could tag team this one. You know, so it drives me nuts. It didn't used to, because a Miata used to be what I would, and what most people would probably agree, was a value.
I think I have to start this whole thing by saying this. The Miata is a good car.
Yes.
It is a good car. We're not denying it.
It's a fine car.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's good.
It's significantly better than most econo boxes.
Yes. In certain applications.
Yeah, as a driver's car.
Yes.
As a driver's car, yes, I would rather drive a Miata than a Corolla.
Yes.
Okay, I was about to say, man, I was really afraid you were gonna, like, I didn't realize the Miata hated sunk so.
Yeah, my anger was boiling. No, so yeah, the Miata is fine, and it was fine until the last few years. And I don't know what exactly it's been. I don't know if we like lost everybody that came before the Miata is always the answer. I don't know if like the car throttle propaganda of Miatas it like just somehow went nuclear and took everybody over. I don't know if TikTok Miata kids like just somehow managed to persuade everybody that Miatas are all of a sudden like the car. But there's so many other good cars that do everything a Miata does better, in fact. And the reason why a Miata was the answer for a decade was because a Miata was cheap. Okay? And I think a lot of people here might not understand this. But 10, 15 years ago, you know, I know some of you guys might, you know, just have passed those ages for the first time. But 10 to 15 years ago, a Miata in like fantastic condition was like $3,000.
I paid in 2015. I paid $6,000 for my 72,000 mile single owner NB with all the maintenance records.
Okay, so in about the same, probably 15, 16-ish, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
I bought a, from California, second owner, I guess, because it was inherited by the guy whose grandmother passed away. But his grandmother bought the car brand new in 1992. She had every record in a folder stored in the car. It had a brand new soft top on it because it was in California. The paint had been, messed up, and the soft top had been messed up because of the sun.
My paint was immaculate. I will give it that.
But aside from that, well, and even then, the paint on the car was actually good. It was just the deck lid that was bad, because they all go bad there because that single stage Mazda paint.
I had a scrape on my front lip, I think, like one scrape that was like approaching a crack, and she had cracked the driver's side mirror, but she gave me a fresh one, like a brand new one in the same color.
Oh yeah,
like that she gave me after I bought it because she felt so bad that I spent $6,000 on a Miata, on an NB Miata, and it wasn't perfect.
Yeah, like that's a very 2015 Miata buying experience.
Yes.
So this car had like 76,000 miles on it. Was absolutely mint. Not a damn thing wrong with it. Every service record, everything that had possibly gone wrong, every oil change was documented, everything. Yes. And I paid $2,800 for that.
I will say, got out pretty good. Because even back then,
even back then, I got a deal. And don't get me wrong, I was definitely hassling the dude. But the fact of the matter is, I also remember people in, just out of high school offering to sell me Miatas for like $500 and me being like,
Yep.
no, I don't want that. I don't need
Yeah.
any more cars. Like, I don't need
Yep.
this. You know, the same thing with
God, you're right. Yeah, $500 Miata was a thing.
yeah. You could buy a
Miata.
running and driving beater Miata for sub $1,000
Yep.
all day long.
Yep.
And that is why the Miata was the answer, because it was
Yes.
so cheap to get into one, and because it had a decent potential ceiling for a car that was worth $1,000.
Yep.
Same thing that happened with 240s.
Yep.
The reason why at least a 240 actually has a better potential ceiling than a Miata. So I know some of you are going to be freaking out in the comments. You can go ahead and do it. I don't care. A 240 is a better car than a Miata. Argue
I'm
over
clipping
it.
that.
But the Miata was good and it was cool because it was cheap. And the
Yep.
moment they stopped being cheap, it stopped being those things. It
Yep.
stopped being the answer. There's no way I'm buying a 200,000 mile Miata or even 150,000 mile Miata for $6,000, $7,000.
No.
I mean, you can start finding, if I'm going to drive a clapped Miata, for the same money, I could buy a clapped Z. I could buy a clapped 350.
Yes.
I could buy a clapped G35. I could buy a clapped FRS. I could buy a shell of a 240
Yep.
and somebody's half torn apart KA. I mean,
And
like,
I'm gonna
there's
say,
a lot of
if
things.
you-
A Mustang. I mean, there's
Yes.
so many chassis to get into that have infinitely better potential ceilings
Yes.
to them that is not a Miata for the same money.
I have a take on this. Miatas are only worth getting if you don't modify them, or if you don't plan to modify them.
Yes, if you want to
Because
be
the amount of money and resources it takes to elevate a Miata to a point that it's actually good still.
competitive,
Like,
yeah, I think
competitive. No, let's just say good, right?
Yeah.
Because a Miata boosted suddenly becomes significantly less good than it was. It's faster, but it's not as good.
Yeah.
Because Miatas operate in this very, very narrow band with respect to how much power they have, to the amount of weight that they have, to the chassis balance, to the way that it rides. You start screwing up anything, and they become significantly worse in key areas. Anything that screws up the handling on a Miata is not worth doing. So yes, throwing another 150 to 300 pounds on the front of over the front axle is going to ruin a Miata. Yes, if you are 300 pounds sitting in a Miata, you're going to ruin a Miata because they weren't designed for you. They operate in such a narrow little margin that modifying them in any kind of way comes with such a high risk that it's going to screw it up. So to really do it right, you have to throw a crap load of money at it to make it perfect.
and you're gonna
problem.
get, and the problem is the money you're gonna spend is not going to feel like the reward, because when you think about it and you're like, oh, I spent $20,000 in this car, I should make 400 horsepower. But if you make 400 horsepower, the car is going to drive like garbage.
Yep.
So
it doesn't have the wheelbase for it.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, it's cool. It blows the tires off. Yeah, well, cool. I know somebody's going to be like, well, but this guy on YouTube's got a 500 or 600 horsepower. Yes, that's fine. If that's what he wants to do with it, that's great. But I'm telling you, you could spend less money for a better experience all day long.
If you want a 500 horsepower car, don't buy a Miata.
No, go buy a Mustang.
Go buy a Mustang. Go buy a 350. If you want a higher horsepower car, Miatas are not. And I'm going to say this so you've owned multiple Miatas.
Yes.
I've owned multiple Miatas. I've owned an NB and an ND.
I've only owned NAs.
NA and NBs.
Nope.
You never owned an NB?
Nope. I've actually only owned NAs.
Okay. So I've owned an NB. I've owned an ND. NB Miata, it was great for the price. NB Miatas are significantly better than NA Miatas.
Yes.
Significantly better. Even still, driving that car, if you are not like doing it on any kind of curvy road, it's traffic. That car drives like traffic.
Yep.
ND Miata, again, fantastic little car. I enjoyed my time with it, and within a year, I was tired of it.
Yeah.
Because when you drive it because if you're not driving it on roads that allow you to handle, it drives like traffic. It really does. I mean, I would 100% agree. If you're looking in that like $6,000 range, a 350Z, G37, G35, Mustang,
Any
even like
Mustang
even
you
like
can
a
get in that in that price range, to be honest.
S197 super clapped, you can find them, right?
SN95
clean
SN95 / New Edge,
cleanish, yeah,
cleanish.
depending on
Well,
where
yeah.
you're at in the country.
Yeah.
Just those are all better platforms if you're going to build. If you're going to race, sure. I still think NA and B Miata, if you're going to just do like a cheap grassroots racing thing, those are still really good choices.
I think if you want to do spec Miata, obviously you're limited to a Miata. But if still, even as a track car, I would argue that a well-sorted New Edge SN95, S197 gonna be a lot better. You don't even need to make more power. You could just do handling mods.
That's what I was going to say, is it depends on if you're wanting to modify the car.
Right.
I think you can take an NB Miata, do maintenance, take it to the track, and have a shitload of fun.
But at the same time, I would say if you're going to buy a Miata and you want to track it, but you don't want to modify it, you're at most probably doing autocross, and that's still, even then, all of those other cars are going to do just fine in an autocross event. I mean, you're going to be able to...
You can... I've talked to enough people that have done unmodified like NBs on track.
Yeah, but I mean, like
they've still had a lot of fun with it.
And don't get me wrong, I mean, but at the same time, I would say like you could go take a stock FRS out on track and you're gonna have a great time too. Like you're not gonna be.
Yeah, I just think the barrier for entry on an NB Miata, right? Like NB Miata plus maintenance. I still think there is a use case for that cost wise versus an FRS, right?
Yeah. For sure.
Versus a 350 versus an SN95, just for cheap grip racing.
Yeah.
You modify it, you want to drift, even if you want a cruiser, right? Just a cruiser car. Miata is not the answer. If you want a cruiser,
unless you can grab it significantly cheap, I wouldn't pick it. I don't think it's the answer anymore.
I mean, I had an interesting question actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, $5,000, what would you get as a cruiser?
$5,000 as a cruiser?
Yeah. Like just weekends, take it out on roads. You're not bombing it. You're not going too hard, right? Just something you want to just kind of drive and chill
in. Honestly, I don't know.
I still think the answer is UCF 20.
I mean, that's solid. That's definitely solid.
Because the prices haven't hit those as hard as I would have expected. Like the price inflation on everything, because you can still get a decent UCF 20 for like 5 or 6.
I mean, if I just wanted something that I could just cruise around in. Honestly,
not coming up with anything.
Dude, I mean, I don't like. There's at $5,000. Is this like $5,000 and you're done, or $5,000 just for the cost of the car and
like $5,000 and some maintenance?
$5,000 in maintenance. I'll be honest. I'm big mod guy. Okay, like I don't really care about, like, to me, if I'm just driving something that's like normal, I don't care about it whatsoever. Like,
I think you might be missing out a little bit if you haven't taken like a big Luxo and just like
and I do think
chill cruise.
That's
fun.
I get, like, I can get that, but like for me, like part of that, right, is like if I was gonna do that, like I would want to go and like I would want some kind, like I've always said, like if I was gonna do like a big body car like that, like I would do like a VIP build, because it's not something I would normally do, because like I'm all about.
I want a Century so bad. I've been looking at them.
I would get a Century if that was $5,000, but that's not in our $5,000 budget here.
But my point, right? My point is, at $5,000 or $6,000, and you just want a car that's like kind of fun to drive a little, like cruise in the weekends, Miata's still not the answer.
Yeah,
it's not the answer for a drift build. It's not the answer for a mod, like a car to modify heavily. I think it's really only the answer if you're going to do like spec Miata grip racing.
Yep. Yeah. If you're going to do that, or like if you live, maybe somewhere in the mountains in Pennsylvania and like you got a bunch of curvy roads you can bomb down all the time, and like you're just doing a little commute and you just want something kind of
Yep.
economical, sure. I mean, I'd be fine there. It'd be fun there.
At these prices, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it to spend $6,000+ to live in a gridlock city in the suburbs of Detroit.
Yep.
I mean, buy a Mustang. Like,
well,
that's
and let's extend
probably what
that.
I'd buy for $5,000, to be honest. I think I'd probably just go buy a Mustang.
To like even the new ones, NDs, right?
Yeah.
Brand new NDs, what, like $30,000?
I think they're more than that now, to be honest. I think
but
they're like
somewhere
32.
around there, right?
But yeah,
30
somewhere in the
32.
$30,000 territory.
30 to 32 grand. I mean, FRS, right?
Yeah,
obviously, or GR86. Sorry,
Yeah.
There's still FRSs in my head. GR86, obviously, but like even a Mustang,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I think a few grand more, you can get into an EcoBoost, and I mean, like an EcoBoost is a pretty confident vehicle, and we're talking, if you're cross shopping new and used cars, I mean, at $30,000, you could go get an S550. You could go, an S550 GT is a phenomenal car. I mean,
well, and I'm even thinking about it, right? Miata used, like ND used prices are still really expensive.
Yeah, I think they're still north of 20 in most cases, right? I mean, like I think,
so like in
I
that
think
case,
ND
GR86
ones
or FRS.
I think early ND ones are like down near 15ish now. But
well, and to be clear though, unless you get, I can't remember which spec it is, but unless you get the very specific trim level, they don't come with LSDs.
Yeah, I think you have to get I think LSDs didn't come standard until like some of these later gen ND2s.
Yeah, no, but there's one trim because mine had one.
Mm-hmm.
There's one trim package.
I think
I can't
it's
remember which it is.
I know for sure the clubs have
like Club Sport or Club.
Yeah, I
or
think
something.
the Club Sports do, and I think there's one other trim. I think like if you get like whatever the top trim was, and then whatever the club packages are.
Well, actually, hell, even in the 20s though, like if you're looking like 20 to 30 grand, a used Corvette, even like a C5, C6.
Well, and I was just about to say, if you talk about, I mean, like you could get a nice C5.
Yeah.
For $20,000, like you could get for even less than $20,000, you could get in a nice C5.
Alpha Camaros are down in that range now.
Yeah. I mean, there's plenty of things you can get into at the $20,000 mark, or 20 to 25, 20 to 30.
Better to build.
I mean, you can start looking at. I mean, if you wanted to move away from coupes, I mean, like I see plenty of Evos that need work in the $20,000 range. I mean, there's STIs, and I mean, like an STI and an Evo is a hell of a lot more car than a Miata is.
Yes.
And or will it ever be? To have a Miata compete with either of those cars at the same level, I mean, it's night and day. I mean, you have to spend stupid amounts of money in a Miata to do that. I mean, you could spend no money in an STI and have a really fun, really quick car.
Yep. So there it is. Official end of this rant episode.
I think we went 5 episodes without ranting. I think we earned this one. We had to bottle up a lot to get here, so clearly we had to let some of it out today.
Really ending on a high note, crapping on the Miata, I would say.
I like beating up on Miata owners a little bit.
I would agree.
They make it easy.
They do.
Do
people still call them hairdresser cars?
I was just about to ask if they're still the hairdresser car. Like, do people still make jokes about having like hair dryers in the glove box, or like?
So when I bought my NB, we got it, and I remember we drove up. I got out to eat. I think we got out of the car going to eat or something, and somebody said, "Oh, your wife let you drive her car."
That's pretty good. Yeah, I remember getting shit like that all the time when I had them. A bright ass red Miata. I'm getting out of it. Long hair.
Yeah, I didn't have long hair yet. So, all right. Anyway, this has been fun. Do not forget to like and subscribe. Do not forget to scold us if you think our opinions are bad, and then I'm going to make fun of you back. That's like my favorite thing to do. So leave comments, and then I can make fun of you. And I don't think I've said anything today that was bad enough that could get me in trouble at work, so that's good. I've upheld my engineering integrity, though not my mouth so much.
We didn't violate any NDAs.
I don't think so. No.
Probably pissed off several sub 100 horsepower sub 100 horsepower car owners, but that's fine.
Oh, but I bought my Miata at 114 up the interstate in Georgia.
Yeah. Well, if you have it in fifth gear and you're all the way in it, you could maybe hit 120. All right, guys.
All right.
Thank you for
we
watching.
Gotta be done.
We're gonna leave before I'd like to go make dinner or something today. So
I'd like to go to sleep.
alrighty, thank you guys for watching. This has been Whoop. That's been Mike, and we gotta see you guys in the next one where we probably won't be ranting and talk about something slightly more serious.